Loyalty or love? Choose wisely. That's today's topic on the Mars Mindset. Now, this is something that I struggle with, but previously I've said that I would take love. But sometimes I think about loyalty, and loyalty is very enticing too. So I was just interested to have the conversation and see what some of y'all's perspective is. So that's today's topic on the Mars Mindset. Loyalty or love? Steph says love and loyalty go together. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, right? But then I was thinking, well, someone can love you and still hurt you, or you can love someone and hurt them. But does loyalty ever hurt? If someone's loyal to you, do they ever cause you pain? Just something to think about. So, but if you had to choose between one or the other, though, which one would you choose? I don't know. Let's see who's in the room. What up, Dr. Hawk?
What's up?
How you feeling?
Good.
You didn't get bit by that bat today, did you?
Nah, I ain't get bit by the bat today.
Did he try to get you?
No, he ain't trying to get me.
You know, when I saw your post, it looked like he was on a desk or something, right?
Then turn left toward I-95.
The bat.
No, he was on the wall. He was hanging from the ceiling.
In the first picture, oh, okay. Well, it looked like, I thought maybe it was like a fake bat and somebody had put him on your desk or something. But then I saw the guys up on the thing trying to get him out, and I was like, oh man, like there's a real bat in there.
Yeah.
Well, you driving home, so let me just get straight to it. If you had to choose between love and loyalty, and you couldn't pick both, because we would all pick both, which one would you choose?
Loyalty.
Really? Why loyalty?
Because sometimes love make you do dumb stuff and make you. Sometimes because we're in love, we allow ourselves to be treated a certain kind of way because we love somebody.
Okay, so
loyalty.
So loyalty. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm not sold on one over the other, but I'm gonna give you pushback for the sake of conversation.
Of course.
Right. If in theory, you know, you can do stupid things, love can make you do stupid things. Can't you be loyal to a fault too?
You can be loyal to a fault, but at the same time, like the question you asked, does loyalty hurt?
At the next one, turn left.
Sometimes love hurts, you know. Love can makes us do crazy things. I'm trying to think who is it in the album, and they got like one of those intros in it. Oh, this is my song. I'm sorry, got one of those intros in it, and it said the most powerful drug of them all is love.
J. Cole.
That's it. That's it. That's who album it is.
Yeah, I mean that's why I put the choose wisely on there, because I'm a J. Cole fan. J. Cole was the first concert that I ever went to, and I never disliked J. Cole, but after seeing him live, I was like, oh man, this dude, he's the truth, next level. But okay, so do you think that? Okay, let's say someone who's loyal to you hurts you. Do you think that pain is lesser than if someone who you love hurts you?
Yeah, I would think so. Because I mean, you get more disappointed as opposed to hurt to me. Like if someone that's been loyal decides to hurt you, it's more of a feeling of disappointment. Like, dang, I never really thought that they would do that. But if it's somebody that loves you hurt you, like that's a hurt that sometimes it takes hard for people to get over, and it can cause damage, and that hurt is what sometimes people pull into their other relationships, you know, because they had that residual that relationship trauma.
So I think so okay, so with love then, do you think with love comes more expectation in comparison to loyalty? Right? Like I guess what I'm saying is like, so when you love someone and someone loves you, you have do you have higher expectations than someone who you may not necessarily think loves you, but it's just being loyal to you?
No. Again, I'm back with the loyalty. If I have someone that's loyal and we're loyal to each other, that expectation is higher. With love, because we know some things happen in love, you know, I really feel that you expect things because we love each other, and we often say, I thought you loved me when things happen. But if it's somebody that you have a loyal relationship with, you know, that's kind of like your family, you know, that's loyal to you, as opposed to a spouse or somebody you're in a relationship with. Whereas they can come, they can be there, they can be gone, but like those people that are loyal to you, those are the people that's going to be in your life forever. Because you love somebody, you know, you can fall out of love with somebody too, you know.
So okay, so I'm trying to make sure I understand. You're saying that loyalty has, say, we'll say, a higher emotional charge, or does love have a higher emotional charge?
Love has a higher emotional charge than loyalty. It does. But when you talk about emotions, but it's something different when you're it's loyalty, when you're dealing with somebody that's loyalty, somebody you trust. Because you don't necessarily have to be in a loving relationship with somebody that's loyal to you. You understand what I'm saying?
I think I do. I think from what I'm getting from it, you're saying that with loyalty, there's a higher expectation.
There's a higher expectation, yes.
Huh. So, but is there higher expectation because we give people that? Do you think it's because we give people that we love grace, and with loyalty, we're just expecting that one thing, that one aspect of our relationship is I expect you to be loyal to me, and that's it.
It's one of, like, because I can love you but not trust you. But when you have somebody that's loyal, you trust them.
Mm, that's a really good point, Dr. Holt. I never thought of it that way, right? Because you could love
Right.
somebody and not trust them. But if
Yes.
you're loyal, the loyalty, you expect the trust, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so trust. So, okay, so then I can surmise for right now, I'm not dying on this hill, that trust is foundational in loyalty, but not necessarily in love.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay, I like that.
Because
Let's see if
like
somebody
you
else
can
wants to
love
come in and have a piece of.
yeah,
Go
because
ahead.
you can love somebody. You can love somebody and be in a relationship with them. They can cheat on you, but because you love them, you'll take them back. Julie, what you got going on, Julie?
I'm getting ready for tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow?
I thank you guys for sharing, by the way, the work that I've been filming. So I'm filming again tomorrow, another series. And these cameras, they get everything. So I made a mask. And I said, why did I do it at this time when Chelsea is about to go live?
It's all good, Julie Bain. You a regular on the show. Sometimes you come in, you got your hair popping and all of that good stuff. You've been on with your makeup. You've been on with your braids. I don't know if you've been on with your bonnet. So it's okay, right? We're not gonna hold it against you. We're not gonna say, look at this modern woman here. So are you exfoliating?
Yeah, I'm trying to get all the dirt and all that stuff out before I do makeup, so that way my skin is not damaged so bad.
Okay, well, good job. I'm proud of you, Julie Bain. So, Julie Bain,
Yes.
you know the question: is it love or is it loyalty? Which one are you taking?
You know me, I'm going with loyalty all day.
So we have two for loyalty. I gotta find somebody to come explain the love thing to me. So why are you going with loyalty?
Because I feel like if someone is loyal to me, no matter what happens, like arguments or whatever is said or done, at the end of the day, they're gonna be loyal. Or is that how I am, and I think that that's how people will be? Because that's also a problem.
So that's my thing. Like when I think about, maybe I might be a conservative thinker, like a long-term person, right? Mm-hmm. And Jesse says love, so we're gonna get Jesse in here soon. I'm not supposed to say I just posted a reel about that. So my question about loyalty is, can loyalty be sustained over a long period of time? Right? Because when you love someone and you go through the ups and downs and the pains, when you really need that person, if they love you, they'll be there for you.
I don't think so. And that's why I chose loyalty. Because I just experienced something where I'm like, well, this person loves me, so no matter what happens, they'll be there for me. And that wasn't the case. So I'm like, well, then I prefer loyalty. Because I feel like if you're loyal, like, you can be mad at me, but if something happens, I'm loyal to my circle. I'm going to be there. We'll fight it out later because, I don't mind. But if you need me, I'll be there for you.
Okay. So, Dr. Hawk, you still with us? Oh, Dr. Hawk dropped out. Okay, so let me ask you this, Julie.
Yes.
You would choose loyalty. Dr. Hawk would choose loyalty. So before I bring Jesse or Coach Jay in to have their opinion, let me ask you this. Where you go? You still there?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll just make sure you're still there from an audio perspective. It's all good. Dr. Hawk says she's stuck. It's all good. So, how would you feel if you were in a relationship, for whatever reason you guys hadn't exchanged I love yous, okay? And you asked him, like, do you love me? And he was like, no, I don't love you, but I'll be loyal to you. What would that feel like?
It would hurt if I loved that individual, but I would respect them for being honest with you.
Okay. Do you think you would at that point want to continue the relationship because they were loyal?
Is it like what kind of relationship? Because to me, that would change the dynamics of the relationship at that point.
Okay, we're talking about an intimate relationship, right?
Then definitely I would change the dynamics. Like, for example, this is a perfect example. I do not, how could I say this? My kid's dad, right? I know that even though we don't love each other, our relationship surpasses that understanding. And I know that if something's up with my kids, I know he would answer. That means he's loyal to me when it comes to my kids. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I feel like I can give you pushback on that.
Okay.
And because he's probably a good dad, right? So he may be loyal to his kids. He may be loyal to fatherhood. He may be loyal to society not looking at him as a bad person or as a bad father. He may be loyal to his, and not to say that, maybe his self, the way in which the world views him. Mm-hmm. But would he be loyal to you if you needed something? Not the kids, right? Because that shows his loyalty to them. So even if you weren't around, he would still do for them, right? Mm-hmm. But would he be loyal to you?
That's a good question. And I would have to, the only way I could respond to that, I know if it would have to be like an extreme situation, like probably like life or death or something like that. Like, I got a list of people that I know I can call for whatever. Uh-huh. And let's say I have like a top 10, he's like 10. Like, I would have to exhaust everybody, but at least he's on that list. I got to be honest in that sense.
Okay, so let's say you had, I don't know, let's say you fell and twisted your ankle or something. You needed someone to take you to the hospital. Do you think he would come?
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty loyal.
Yeah. Even though we don't talk, and you know, I guess just like emergency, like emergency situations.
Uh-huh.
Hi,
Okay.
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, Jesse, where you at? We see you in the car too. Everybody in the car. Can we see you?
No, you're not gonna be able to see me.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, Jesse, let me ask you this. You said love, correct?
Yes, love.
Okay, so we have two for loyalty. We got Jesse coming in arguing for love. Jesse, why are you choosing love over loyalty?
I'm choosing love rather than loyalty because I feel like sometimes people can be loyal to people at a default that don't deserve the loyalty, or it's not even like reciprocated, or it's a protocol thing. But whether it's for this person knows this person, or they help raise me, or I owe them. It's not necessarily like that that's what they want.
Ah,
So,
that's a really good point.
right. Yeah. I, I yeah, so I would rather somebody love me, and not just any love, but just like an unconditional love, one that doesn't come with conditions, because that kind of love will is the greatest. It says it in First Corinthians, the greatest of all these things is love. Straight, straight, straight.
Julie,
Yeah, but what about, like, for example, a parent, right? I know plenty of parents
Mm-hmm.
that can love their kids to a certain extent. Like, let's say the kid is like a drug addict, or whatever
Mm-hmm.
the problem is, and there's like a limit. So that's why I went with loyalty, because I feel like love has limits, especially if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing in a negative way. The people that love you and the people that are around you, like, at some point people end up saying, look, there's nothing more that I can do. So that's why I chose loyalty, because I feel like love can be lost.
No, and I understand what you're saying, and that's why I prefaced it like the kind of love has to be an agape love, because that kind of love it doesn't come with any condition. There is no condition outside of possibly like there is an absence of safety for me where I cannot be safe loving this person. If that is not the case, there is no condition, whether you are sick, whether you are poor, whether you're an addict, that I will stop loving you.
but hold on. So Jesse, you made a point earlier, and I kind of wanted to like dig into it a little bit about
Mm-hmm.
the word you used. The one that kind of got me was protocol, right? And are you saying that with loyalty, sometimes loyalty is kind of par for the course, what I have to do regardless of how I feel about you,
Absolutely.
right? So I have to be like what Julie was saying about her daughter's father. Like, he could be doing that out, he could love them and he could be loyal to them, or he could be like, I'm doing this because this is what I'm supposed to do, not because I want to.
Right.
Okay, to invert that, could we make that same argument with love, that like I have to love my kids, or I have to love my wife, or I have to love my parents?
I don't think so, because I think with love, it's an active choice that you have to make. Like, even if you have a child, outside of birthing them, you're not obligated to love them, as crappy as that sounds. You choose to love them.
Okay, I don't know. So let me ask y'all this. which one do you think is more inherent? Do you think love is more inherent or loyalty?
Inherent in terms of like,
Humans.
kind of like a knee-jerk reaction type thing.
Like, which one is our like default mechanism? People that are that are close to us, we'll say. Because if I say people that we love, then that kind of defeats the purpose of the question, right?
Then I would say love is more inherent.
You think love is?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, because loyalty requires more discipline, I would think.
You agree with that? You agree with that, Jesse? That loyalty requires more discipline?
Yes. Yes.
So, okay. I think I agree with that because, okay, so I guess I could put it like this. I think you can choose to be loyal and I think you could choose to love someone, right? But I think that you can subconsciously or unconsciously love someone. But loyalty is something that is really, really in action.
Yep, absolutely.
Like truly in action. Like I don't necessarily feel loyalty. It's an action. It's just an action.
Right.
And because of that, it has to be an intent. It has to be like intentional.
And that's why I choose loyalty. Because you have to intentionally make the decision despite whatever to have that person's back.
Ooh.
I would say that argument is the same for love.
Say that. I'm sorry, Jesse. I was talking. Say that again.
I'm sorry. I said I would say that that's the same argument for love. Like, you have to actively choose to love somebody day in and day out, no matter what their role is in your life.
Ooh, man, this is a beautiful conversation. So, okay, but Jesse, let me ask you this. Is it possible to love someone without choosing to?
Without being active, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love people from real far away right now.
Hey, real quick, Coach Jay said, are we speaking of loyalty to ourselves or loyalty to the other person? So the way the question is really framed is for the other person or for the other person to love you, right? Or to be loyal to you. So would you rather your husband, wife, significant other, spouse, or whatever you classify them as, if you had to choose their love or their loyalty, which one would you choose? That's kind of how what'd you say, Jesse?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nah, were you saying something or were you talking to
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay, cool. Wow. So, but Jesse, you still sticking with love. You're saying love is a choice.
Yeah.
I agree that love is a choice, but I don't think it's a complete choice. I don't think it's an absolute choice. I think you can love someone like, okay, I think because love can be painful, right? You can love someone and wish that you didn't.
That's facts.
Because it hurts so bad. So, and what I'm saying is like at the point when you love someone and you wish that you didn't, you are no longer choosing to love them. You just love them.
And I would rather they be loyal to me and me loyal to them instead of having to go back and forth with that emotion. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, that's why I would prefer loyal. Like, we don't have to love each other anymore or show that action consistently so it can be active, blah, blah, blah. But I would like to go to sleep at night knowing that the top 10 people on my list are loyal to me and vice versa. But that's because that's how I am. You can stay mad at me, but if you have a car accident, don't not call me because we're mad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still going to be loyal to you despite whatever turbulence is happening. Because one thing I have also learned, when you have relationships that grow for more than just a season, you're not always gonna be in the best times, or you're not always gonna be like high-fiving or whatever. You
Yeah.
it's gonna be some turbulence at some point. So if I
I hear what you're
What'd you say?
I hear what I hear what she's saying. I'm sorry, what's your name, love?
Julie,
Julie? Julie, I hear what you're saying, but I feel like loyalty is the safe answer, and loyalty also doesn't come with correction. I want in love that you can correct me, that you can call me on my bullshit, right? And
mm,
loyalty doesn't really leave room for that.
nah, that's not.
Even if you're wrong,
No,
I'm going to stick beside you.
no, no. Like, I should be able to correct you and still stick beside you. That's the best relationship that I want, because I don't want yes men around
Yeah.
either.
Hmm.
And you
So
only develop that over the course of, like, lifetimes, like people that have been best friends for like 20, 30 years, like your boy, you can still correct them and be like, look, you're not moving in this space, or I'm just gonna say, like, I don't agree with blah blah blah, but you can't turn your back on that person just because of a spat, or because there's some turbulence in the relationship at that
Mhm.
time. Like, if love disappears, and I had, like, your question, then that means that's it. The love is gone, the person is gone. So I prefer the loyalty.
okay. So Julie, so what it sounds to me like when you think of loyalty to okay, so if love is more, it's like Julie is saying love is more malleable, more up and down, right? I love you up to 10, and then one day it could drop down to 1 or 0. Whereas if loyalty could be something that is a consistent, say, 8. And what Julie's saying is, I'll take the consistent 8 over the roller coaster of love.
Yeah, if
I, mhm.
if you
Go ahead, Julie.
if you're going to say I choose love, but if that person doesn't love me anymore, then that relationship is dead, right? If that's how you would define it, then I'm gonna go with loyalty, because to me, loyalty will not end.
Hmm. Jesse, what you do? You have a response to that?
Yes, I do. I think the real question is, how are we defining loyalty and how are we defining love? Because true love, agape love, it will not disappear. It will not be up and down. I think the purest form of love, I don't know how many Christians are in the room, is God's love, and it's steadfast. It's not going anywhere, no matter what it is you do.
I know that, but we're talking about humans.
Well, that's
Like,
my question. My next question for Jesse would be: do you believe that we as humans have the ability to love unconditionally the way God does?
right, that's different.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So if we love unconditionally, so well, yes or no, Jesse, you can love a significant other unconditionally.
Yes,
Okay, cool, got you. So if you love your significant other unconditionally, does that mean that that person can do absolutely anything that we would all consider to be negative, and you would still continue to maintain the relationship with them to the level of before they did that act?
yes. It goes straight. Yeah. Two ways to get there. Okay.
Huh. Julie, what you think about that?
Um, I appreciate Jesse's mentality. I
Uh-huh.
I don't think I could do. I feel like as humans we have our limits. Like, even like Carolina just wrote, even our kids. If I don't even want to speak into that, but like, if it's something that's really extreme, I don't know if I'm built to unconditionally love my kid.
because I'm human. Like I let's just say like my kid killed my mom. I don't know how I could, as a human, deal with that.
You mean like you don't know if you could continue to love your child in action the way you did before?
Right. Like you said, like if something happens, X thing happens, could you still love that person the way you did before? And let's make it even easier. A significant other, like a husband or whatever. I know I have my boundaries. If my husband cheated on me, that's it for me. Like that's just. I think that to me that's like the ultimate. You don't love me action. And I know, Chels. Men were not created to be monogamous. But
It's just my opinion though. I
but like,
wasn't gonna give you a bunch of pushback on what you say.
but that's just like my example of I'm human, right? God's love is different. In my eyes, God's love is different. I don't put myself in those shoes.
Okay, Jesse, I'm going to let you have the last word between you and Julie. Do you have anything in closing before I bring somebody else in?
What was your question, Charles?
I just said I would like for you to have the last word between this conversation between you, I, and Julie. And I was just wondering if it was anything you want to say in closing before I bring somebody else in.
I think that there's levels to love. Even if you love somebody, like you can love somebody and not be in love with them. So even if somebody were to cheat or your child were to kill your parent, like I think you would still love them, but there's room for like correction. There's room for this is out of my hands, but for me, I don't think you stop loving that person. Now, with that love, sometimes you can't actively be with somebody that you love because maybe they're causing you harm. I'm trying to hear. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're causing you harm to your mental, your financial, your safety, and you have to be in love with them. But will you ever stop loving them? I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. All right, Jesse, we appreciate you. I'm going to let you slide off.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate you, Jesse.
No problem.
We'll holler.
Bye.
All right. So, you still there, Julie?
I was thinking, I am going to mute the video because I do not want YouTube to see my face like this when you go to post the video.
You going to report my video?
No, I'm just saying, like, this is not good for your content views.
Well, Julie Bean, I would tell you like this. I'm a Scorpio. You know this. I'm a very loyal person. So as long as you're rocking with me, I will rock with you. And every time you look nice and pretty, I put you on there. And it's only fair that we see you as you exfoliate too. You know why? Because we love you and we're loyal to you. So you don't have to worry about that. We're going to ride for it. And if anybody put anything in the comments on YouTube, I block them. Just for Julie B. All right? So don't worry. I got it. Shetty!
Hey, y'all.
Turn the light on. We want to see your head.
I'm trying to turn it all the way on. I don't know if you guys can see.
Oh, fire. That's what I'm talking about. How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling good.
So,
it's red.
we got ruby red and we got She-Hulk. Oh, good. All love. And, all right, so you have your choice between love and loyalty. We know you want to say, I want to have both, but on Mars, you can't. So, are you taking love or are you taking loyalty?
I'm going to take love over loyalty because when you love someone, you are loyal.
So, you think that loyalty, okay, so loyalty is inherent within love.
Yes.
So if someone loves you and they become disloyal, you interpret that as meaning they don't love you.
No,
You're saying no, they
no,
don't love you?
no, because once you love, if you fall out of love, you never loved in the first place.
Oh wow! So you're saying that once you, Julie, was that a finger? I'm trying to wave to this person and it keeps.
I her question.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. So, Nichelle, if you're in here, I'm trying to wave to you, but it's not working. So, hi. Go ahead, me.
So if how can I say this? So you're saying that if someone loves you by default, they're going to be loyal?
By default, you're going to be loyal. When you truly love someone, you love, and love comes with unconditional love. You can't tell yourself that you love someone and then decide to say, I no longer love this one because of their actions. If we know that we are all imperfect, that's going to come. That's going to come. So, love with forgiveness, you have to love with forgiveness in spite of their actions, because what expectation are you holding people to? Is it your expectation of love, or is it the expectation of what love truly means? And what love truly means is unconditional love. So, in spite of what this person does, I'm still going to love you. I don't have to deal with you, but I'm going to still love you, meaning we are no longer together, but my actions, I'm going to show you that I still love you. Because a lot of people don't know what love is because their heart's been broken and they have not really come to know who love is. And in my definition of love is God. And I'm going to say it like I've always said it before, is that if God could love me in all my imperfections, and he says for us to love one another as we love ourselves, we must first know what love is in the first place. And this is why so many people, they love and they fall out of love. They love and fall out of love. You don't fall out of love, because once you love that person indefinitely. There's different levels to your love, but I necessarily, when I say someone falls out of love, that means they never really understood the level and the magnitude of what love truly meant. So when you say, because I've dealt with some harsh things in my life, I've dealt with some things that, even within family, that if I would have continued to be spiteful or bitter of what was done to me, then, and I showed them the same type of response as they showed me, they would never know what love looks like. So sometimes it's hard for us to really say, I love you in spite of, or I love you no matter what. It's a deep thing. Not everybody is going to get to that level, because you have to take yourself out of love. Love is selfless. It's less of what you want and more of what for the other person. You're a blessing to the other person. So it's going to be sacrifices. It's going to be a lot of additional other stuff that doesn't necessarily feels good. But when you say you love someone, your actions, people say love is a feeling. Love to me is not a feeling. Love is actions. What I show you is love. People use the word love all the time, but their actions don't really show love. So they really, truly don't love you. They may lust after you. They may desire you. They may want you for a temporary purpose or a time being, but they truly haven't really loved you, because when you love someone, you forgive them and you continue to keep moving. You do the hard things in love. A lot of people don't want to do the hard things. They want to keep it easy. So loyalty is one of those things that is hard to do. But I believe that when you love someone and you're loyal, it goes together. If this person is disloyal, but then again, we have to remember those are just actions within that person. So there's certain things internally that people themselves have to really work out. But I ultimately believe when you truly love someone, you're loyal to them.
Okay, Julie, did you have a response?
Yeah. So everything that you said, like, is so clear, and I feel like that is my definition of loyalty. Like when you ask the question, loyalty or love, right? Everything you just said, that leads me back to that loyalty piece. But it makes complete sense because if you love someone unconditionally, you're gonna be loyal to them. I just don't know people understand that.
Right. And that's the level we have to accept. We have to accept that some people don't understand that,
Yeah.
so yeah.
The question
Sure.
that I have for you, Vicky, is this: if you are in a relationship with someone, intimate relationship, and they did something that was disloyal,
Hmm.
we'll say, but we'll say that you still love them, right?
Yes.
They did something disloyal. Would you continue to maintain the same relationship with them?
No.
Okay, so if you wouldn't continue to maintain the same relationship with them, then wouldn't that make your love for them conditional? Or
No.
or are we talking about the feeling of love that we have as opposed to what we're willing to quote unquote put up with?
So with me, my love won't change for this person, meaning that I will still, if they need me, if they reached out to me or whatever the case may be, I would still speak with, no regret, no grudges, no hate filled in my heart. But they will not have the same access to me. That's a different type of thing because I'm setting a boundary. So if I set a boundary, that's me loving you from a distance. Not everybody that I forgives will have access still to me, but that once connection of feeling like um, I'm accessible will no longer be. But I'm not saying don't ever talk to me again. I'm not saying those things. I'm letting them know, look, it's been real. I still love you. I care for you. I'm not going to, treat you in a negative way. But what we once had, the connection that we once had, you won't have the same type of access with me. And I think that's understandable because if that's the case, then I would be spreading myself thin. I can love from a distance. I can love you in spite of. I mean, shoot, there's family members, I don't care if they're on or not, that I don't talk to, but they know that if they reach out to me, that I will respond. I will respond out of love. It's a different type because when you are intentional about your access, your boundaries, the levels that you allow, and your space, your mind, the peace, you are intentional about those things. But regardless, the great thing that I can say is that I am very vocal about where I stand with people, and people will never even know sometimes that we're no longer in that type of connection because I still do for people that have done me wrong. But if I say I'm living a life, like I live a life according to unto the glory of God, I have to show that in spite of, because that's the only way that people will really see what true love really is.
So in my mind,
Yes, Jay.
yeah, it does. I'm gonna bring you got something, Julie?
Yes, I have a question.
What do you have, Julie B?
So Vicky, would you say because the love that you have is God's love, that by default that would make you loyal?
By default, yeah, that would make me loyal. That would make me loyal. Just like I said, like if they need me, I mean, there's people that I haven't even talked to in years that reach out. And I know there's certain people that be like, girl, you crazy. You crazy. But that's just the type of person I have became. I was not always like that. I was a Julie at one point. Okay. I was a Julie at one point. And Julie, I heard you before I came on. I was like, oh. Julie said, if my child killed my mother, and I was just like, man, I remember back in the day, I was not forgiving. It's all about, what level you have experienced in your life and what you have what work have you done to get yourself to the level that you want to be. Sometimes people just don't, it's your preference, is what you choose. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, you're wrong in this level. It's just like, hey, if you see these things happening, then you start to think a little differently. But if everybody is being one type of way, how are they going to see something different?
Right.
If everybody is like, oh, they fall out of love, they hate you, and it's like, what? Is it really true love out there? Yes, it's true love. People, I can get into some personal stuff, but as much rejection or much hurt that I've experienced, I realize I don't want to be that way.
Julie, do you have anything before I go?
Yes.
You say, please.
Talk to Vicky all day. I can talk to Vicky, but this is your show, child. So
No, don't do it because it's my show. Host,
Sorry.
no, I understand, and I understand everything that she said. I just want to point out what this person said. He said there is loyalty without love, where an individual may not love in the sense of unconditional love, but because their commitment, they will continue to be a part of that person's life. And that is kind of like the example that I was trying to get at. Like, I'm still going to be loyal, even though I may not be in love with you, or I may still not love you. But I feel like from person to person, like, for example, if I'm walking down the street and somebody, gets hurt, I don't love them. They could be a total stranger, but I'm not just going to walk off, like, I don't have that in me to just turn my back. I may not love you, but you can still count on me.
You can count on me because I'm loyal to helping you. Okay. Vicky. I just like my mind, right? So I delineate between the feeling of love and love in action. Right? So I'll give you a hypothetical similar to Julie's, but we don't have to point people out. So let's just say you love someone, they're living with you, and then they do something that you find not tolerable, but continue living with you. When you say you would still love them, because we're just going to say you love them unconditionally, but they can no longer live with you anymore. So at one point you love them enough to allow them to come live with you, but now they can't. Doesn't that mean that love for that person is based on some condition to a degree? Or is it that the feeling of love that I have for you remains, however, I can't put that into action anymore?
It should always be action. Like, love should always be action. So it doesn't necessarily mean that once you cut off access, doesn't mean that I stop loving you. There's a boundary that is set.
But doesn't that boundary in my mind?
Yes, Dr. J.
I'm not trying to make you agree, so I shouldn't ask it that way.
Oh no, I'm not agreeing.
I know.
Okay.
I don't want you to agree necessarily.
Okay.
I want to understand, because the unconditional love definition is a whole nother show, but that's kind of the going down. And because the way my software works is, okay, I love you enough to allow you. First I'm going to say I love you unconditionally, which means in my mind, there's nothing you could do that would change the love that I have for you, right? Now, if I take your ideology and say love is action, right? Through my act of love, I'm allowing you to live with me, right? And then you something that I'm not rocking with, right? Now, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I love you. but I don't love you enough for you to keep living here. Now I can still feel the love for you, right?
Yes.
I can do that, but here is not one of those things. So
Right.
the way I interpret, my software interprets that is, then that wasn't unconditional love from an actionable standpoint.
So when I speak about unconditional and conditions, meaning based upon the circumstance that transpired, my condition in loving you is unconditional, meaning that I can still have love for you. I can still do for you
Mm-hmm.
if you need me to, but I'm setting a boundary that you're no longer able to live here. So I know some people will be like, well, that's a type of condition, but I'm talking spiritually. I'm not talking physically. I'm not talking circumstantially. I'm not talking materialistic. I'm talking spiritually. So what that means is even if that person has done me wrong, cheated, or whatever the case may be, I still have love for them. So if they need me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to completely disconnect or treat them with a negative conversation. Like I'm not going to be evil or vindictive or spiteful towards them. I'm not going to show them anything else than love. Those are the conditions. So unconditional means if you wrong me, if you've done anything, I'm still going to love you. I'm not saying that you're still gonna have access to me, because there's a level of peace that I'm gonna bring into my own home. There's a level of peace in my own mind. There's a level of what am I showing my kids at the same time? Should I allow this person to continue to disrespect me in a manner that does not uphold the image that I want my children to see or what I want them to accept? So there's a level of respect, there's a level of understanding as well. But conditional for me is more so of me still dealing with this person, meaning that I haven't completely wrote you off. So the love that I follow is what the word of God says is just unconditional. So in spite of, I'm not going to completely cut you off, because if God have cut me off, I will be nothing. I would be hurt. I would be broken. I would be everything else that he is not. So if I have grown in my walk, if I have grown into learning to love, then yeah, the conditional part of having access to me is not like based upon, um, yes, what you've done, but what you've done does not counteract me to hate you, if that makes sense.
It,
So
it,
what you,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so what it's like, the condition part is condition unconditional. This is the condition. You cheated on me. So now I hate you. So every time I think about you, I can't stand you. I don't want you around me. The thought of you makes me cringe. You reaching out to me, I'm hanging up on you. I'm not even giving you any type of, area to even speak to me. That is a conditional part for me, right? But unconditional means I'm not going to give you, the hatred or being mean, or I'm not going to give you what you should deserve. I'm going to give you mercy as God gives me mercy. I'm going to give you grace as God gives me grace. Yes, I forgive you, but you no longer have access to me. There's a boundary.
Okay. So I think I know where we
Are.
kind of part ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on our definitions of unconditional and conditional, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I think unconditional love in the sense of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell you how it works in my software. Um, what is and you would know this, you would know the scripture better than me, but Jesus said something like the sun shines on the good and the bad, or something to that degree.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when I think about air, and I know sometimes I'll be coming out of left field with my metaphors, but just hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
We all share the same sun. We all share the same earth. We all share the same air, the atmosphere, and all of those things, which from me and Vicky's perspective are sustained by God, or whatever definition, whatever name you want to call it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So you being, I'll be the bad guy. I should have worn my villain shirt today. You being the good person, you do saintly things, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the bad guy. So I'm murdering, I'm robbing, I'm raping, I'm pillaging, I'm colonizing, I'm doing all of this. And because God loves both of us, we can both still breathe God's air. right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can both still plant trees and eat God's fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And eat the animals, eat the ones that God says that we can eat. And all of the universal laws that God set forth in the beginning will still apply to you and still apply to I, regardless of our actions,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm not talking about what happens after. I'm talking about why we're here in the physical realm, right?
Okay.
Because I know
Mm-hmm.
there's delineation, right? And we probably,
Right.
okay, so but we're talking about we're here on earth right now.
Mm-hmm.
So because God is going to look at you and me the same in terms of its love for us or his love for us or her love for us, if you plant an apple tree and I plant an apple tree and we follow the same exact things, though I just pillaged the whole earth, the apple tree gonna give me apples, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna give you apples.
Mm-hmm.
That's unconditional. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
see God's unconditional love.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Meaning God will continue to love you, sustain you, and all of those things, regardless of what it is that you do in the physical realm. When I think conditional, I think if God loved us conditionally, God would say, well, Chell's is running around raping, pillaging, colonizing, doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So no matter what he does to make that apple tree grow, that apple tree not going to grow for him, right? Because I have the condition that if you do these things, I will no longer continue to do this for you. So the difference where we kind of part ways is, and I'm just trying to interpret what you're saying. I'm not telling you what you're saying. Is that when you say conditional, you think it's almost like you equate conditional with no longer want to be bothered with you, hate you. I hate dear alfalfa, dear Darla. I hate your stinking guts, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't see conditional that way. To me, there's unconditional love, there's conditional love, and then there's like I hate you, and there's a delineation between those.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm following you. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying that's where I think we part ways.
Okay. I get what you're saying as far as when someone says conditions based upon the conditions that they no longer have access. So the conditions could be you did this, so you no longer. I keep saying access because that's what that is. It's a limit, it's a boundary. But there is a limit. There's a limit to. Um, Let me say this. So a lot of us are probably not, dealing with the stories or in the Bible or not. But there's a story in the Bible where it speaks about Solomon and Gomorrah, right? And God love the people, right? But there was a certain level of toleration that God did not tolerate. There was things that he did not tolerate. So him wiping out the entire city, he still saved some, right? He saved one of his servants and his family. There is a limit to God. Everyone wants to talk about the Lord. He loves, he loves, he loves, he loves. But then there's also a wrath of God. So just as who we are, if he is telling us to love unconditionally, if he's telling us to love others as we love ourselves, there is a limit. Because if we're loving one another as we love ourselves, there is a limit. There's
Okay,
a limit.
hold on, pause there right quick, because I just
Mm-hmm.
yes or no. So what you're saying is unconditional love still has boundaries and limits.
Unconditional love still has boundaries and limits in the sense of a spiritual connection. This is nothing. Everything that we're naming is all physical. Conditional is physical. Like having access to me, that's physical. Being in my home, that's physical. But everything else that I'm speaking about unconditional is a spiritual, is a deep thing, because forgiveness is not tangible. You can't touch forgiveness. So when I love you unconditionally in spite of what you have done in the physical. So that means that anytime that you are in need, I'm not going to just close the door on you, but I'm still going to reach out and, help you in any way possible that I can. But you won't have the same type of access to me. And that's what I'm saying for me, period.
Okay, I think I got you. Marchello, what's up, baby? How you feeling?
What's going on?
Look like you relaxing over there, man.
I'm not in the car, right?
You're
But
not in the
see,
car, so that's what's up. That's what's up. So let's jump right into it because I'm sure it's other people who want to get in on the conversation because this is a hot topic.
Yeah.
So take it back to the top. If you had to choose between love or loyalty, which one would you choose?
for me, loyalty,
Why loyalty?
because loyalty is definitely a commitment, something that you're committed to do. Love, you can love somebody, but we all make mistakes. We all make bad decisions. You know what I mean? But loyalty, it takes a conscious decision to say I'm gonna be loyal, no matter what.
Okay, so you prefer the intentionality of loyalty over the love that can exist without intention.
Because I think with the intentional loyalty, there's still love.
Mm. So if we were looking at this like an umbrella, would you put loyalty as the umbrella? Or did Vicky drop off? Man, if we were looking at this as an umbrella, you're saying that would loyalty be the umbrella and love because you're loyal to someone that establishes your love for them?
Say that again. You went fast on that one.
All right, so if we were looking at this thing like an umbrella, right? So like there's one umbrella at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that that umbrella would have loyalty written on it? And everything that, well, one of the things that would come under that umbrella would be love, meaning that which I show loyalty to, love is inherent within that loyalty.
Right.
See, that's weird because before we had this conversation, you know, a couple months ago, and I had it the other way around where I had love as the umbrella, and then loyalty was something that came under love. But then I began to question my own ideology. You know, that's what I do. And I'm like, well, you could love someone and not be loyal to them.
Exactly.
In my mind, right?
That's how I feel, though.
Huh. Give me 1 second. Let's see if Dr. J wants to come on. I'll bring in your arch nemesis. Because I think y'all actually agree on this one. Dr. J is in the spaceship.
What?
You're in the
What is that?
every time you be in that thing, you look like you're in a spaceship.
Oh, yeah. I'm driving.
So I got good news for you.
What's the good news? You hit the Powerball?
Man, if I hit the power, tell you like this, Dr. J. If I hit the Powerball for that, what was it? 1 billion?
2 billion, baby.
It
2
was 2
billion.
after taxes. After governmental theft, they're gonna kill my life now. But that's after governmental theft, it was like 900 million. Okay? I love you and I'm loyal to you enough to tell you that if I had $1 billion, I would probably give you $5 million.
Really?
I probably would.
Maybe I would look out for y'all too.
Maybe 4.8.
Right. I'm gonna send it right to Lil. I'm gonna send it to her.
I went them tickets. They're my tickets. This ain't Tom house. This is my house. Hey, but look though, let's get into it. You and Marchello, I think y'all agree. If you had to choose love or loyalty, which one would you choose?
I would choose loyal. I would definitely choose loyalty.
Why is that?
Love. I mean, if I'm going to get into it from a perspective of how I look at it, love is defined as like a deep affection for somebody, whereas loyalty is defined as the key word in it is allegiance. You're allegiant to somebody, like you're loyal to that person, and I feel like you're loyal to who you love. So I would definitely choose loyalty because I'm going to always remain loyal to somebody. Like, love to me is a fleeting feeling. Like, oh, I love you today, I don't love you tomorrow, but I'm loyal to you. Like, that's my opinion on it. What would you choose, Chels? Because I didn't hear what was your answer?
I'm still undecided on it. Before I had love, but then as I began to break this thing down, I kind of started to feel the way Marchello is saying, like, if I'm loyal, if I think about the things in life that I'm loyal to, right? I love those things, right? So, but I wouldn't necessarily, like, my software isn't written to think of loyalty first it's rare to think of love first. It's not until I begin to question it that I begin to actually see the value of loyalty.
Right.
Right now, we all have our different definitions of what's loyal, disloyal, what love is, and what love isn't, and unconditional love and conditional love, and all of those things. But everything that I'm loyal to, I love. So
Okay.
if you put it in my head right now and say, "Yo, Chels, you gotta make a choice," I would probably go with loyalty. And it feels weird saying that, but that's kind of where I am at this point in time. And I appreciate you asking me, Dr. J. I know you like
Yes.
to try and put the box the way I put people in the box, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was just wondering what your ideology was on it, because you're a person who thinks completely out of the box and the lines. So I was just wondering, what your stance was on it. I personally just would choose loyalty.
Yeah, it's not that it doesn't come to me that simply, right? I have to like break it down in my mind, extrapolate it, and then look at it and really ask myself like what really makes sense to me, what feels right, what do I think is right. And I
Right.
know that love, love, if you've ever loved something or someone, you've been hurt before, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm not sure that, I mean, I've had some expectations of loyalty and that hurt too, but it didn't hurt as bad. So that kind of makes me wonder, are we choosing loyalty because to lessen the pain if this particular person or thing doesn't meet our expectations? Like, are we just playing it safe? You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I do see what you're saying.
Like, because you follow what I'm saying, Mikhail?
Mm-mm.
So what I'm saying is like, I wonder, I'm not making a statement, I'm asking a question, or I'm just philosophizing. Are we choosing loyalty because the pain of disloyalty is less than the pain of love that love can bring? Like, are we picking based on our desire to feel less pain if this thing goes off the tracks?
No, I think that you would still feel as much pain if a person that you thought would be
Was
loyal to
loyal.
you winds up disloyal to you. You're still
Yeah.
gonna
More.
feel pain if that person is disloyal to you. So check this out, for instance. It's like, okay, we all family, right? But or whatever you want to call the relationship, like, and I'm disloyal to you at some point. Like, you feel like something I did to you in regards to somebody else was disloyalty to you. You're gonna feel that same pain. You're gonna probably feel worse
Yeah.
because you're like, dang, I thought you was loyal to me. Like, where did your loyalty come to? I mean, we're all human, to this person over me. So you're gonna feel pain.
Because with loyalty comes a great deal of trust, because that person has been loyal. So it's a great deal of trust there, and also a great deal of love. You know what I mean? Because
Mm.
of the loyalty. So that probably is going to hurt more. And it's very few people that I've known in my circle that can be 100% loyal. So disloyalty will really, really be a crusher.
Okay, so
More than love.
okay, let me ask you this then, Mikhail. Which one do you think is more scarce, loyalty or love?
Loyalty is more scarce.
Really? You what you think? You agree with that, Dr. J?
For once, I agree with my arch nemesis.
I,
And what's
I bring I bring Batman and the Joker together, and we all have a group hug. It's time for a group.
Exactly.
Ah, that's pretty good. Wow, Mikhail, I like that. I'm sure while I'm at work tonight, I'll be sitting here trying to poke holes in your argument too. I just can't do it all
Yep.
alone. I'll come back next week and be like, "Hey, I figured something out."
Right.
but,
Exactly.
but I don't have a retort. I don't have a retort for you right now. Do y'all have an opinion on Did y'all see the conversation between Vicky and I on unconditional love?
I caught a little bit of it. What was? Give me just put it in a box, a bow,
But
wrap it up.
I don't want to try and explain Vicky's perspective because she can do it a lot better than I can. But where Vicky and I think Vicky and I have a difference of definition on unconditional love and conditional love, right?
Okay.
And Vicky, forgive me if I get this wrong, and you're more than welcome to come back in and break it down if you like to. If not, that's cool too. I won't hold it against you. But she was saying, like, when she was thinking of conditional, I can't put Vicky in a box. No, I'm not trying to put Vicky in a box. I'm trying to, because Vicky and I don't have the same outlook on this, so I'm trying to make sure I don't get it wrong. Vicky, from my perspective, Vicky was saying you can have unconditional love, right? But there would still be limits and boundaries within that relationship, right? I don't see it that way. When I think unconditional love, I think you can do whatever it is that you do that's really, really bad. And I will continue to do the things that I was doing for you before you did the bad thing. That's unconditional in my mind. Conditional is I'll love you and until, and I'm talking about in action. I'll love you in action, but if you do this, then that action can no longer continue, right? So if I loved you enough to let you live with me before, right? But you did this, so I don't love you enough for you to continue living with me now. That's the condition. I love you enough to let you live with me unless you do this. And you did that. So you got to roll. That's a condition in my mind. Whereas if she was saying that conditional love is more like, you hurt me, I don't want nothing to do with you. I hate your stinking guts. Don't call me if if you're on fire, don't call me to spit on you. That's kind of what I got from what she was saying. Does that make sense?
Somewhat so. I mean, it makes sense for, I guess, however you're thinking about it. I mean, is that to say that what if you have unconditional love or you don't have unconditional love to someone, you're not going to be loyal to them? Is that basically what you're saying?
No, that's not what I was saying. What I was, the loyalty part of the conversation between me and Vicky had kind of fallen off. The only thing that was happening was in the comments.
Oh.
People, they were saying what Vicky was defining in their mind was loyalty, right? But we now have
Mm-hmm.
Vicky, so I don't have to explain it anymore. Vicky, welcome back to Mars, baby. Come on back to the red
Uh,
planet.
all I have to say, I heard you. I heard everybody's opinion. I just agree. I agree to disagree. There's a different, we all think differently, and that's completely fine. The example I would give is when my mom put me out the house. I didn't take that as my mom stopped loving me. I took that as my mom still loved me, but there was a level of limitations, and there was something that she was trying to teach me, right? So if I'm saying that I'm living with my husband at the time, who is my ex-husband, and he's done all these things to me, right? I still have communication and conversations with him, but it's not out of spite. I still have love for him. I'm not in love with him, but I still have love for him. For me, that is unconditional. I am still choosing to love you in spite of what you've done to me. That is unconditional in my eyes. So I don't care what nobody say, but for me, I choose to love over all because, loyalty to me is like a conditional sacrifice, but love is like an overall sacrifice for me. So
Hmm. I, I don't think we're ever going to be on the same page on that one.
we're not.
So I
It's
still love
okay.
you,
And it's okay. Yeah.
Markel, what you think about that?
I understand what she's saying about unconditional love. Because I've been there. Like, I love my children unconditionally, right? But 3 of them over 18, I just had to set free. You know, I had to put them out of my house because they couldn't respect rules and everything like that. And so that put me in a realm where I can no longer have a certain loyalty to them in retrospect, but I still love them unconditionally. So I understand what you're saying there. Um, and loyalty, like we said, is a commitment. But there's some things I get what you're saying about conditional because there's some things that people can do that you're loyal to that will cause you not to be disloyal because that's just not in me to tit for tat. So I'm not going to be disloyal, but there be certain um, barriers set up where they still get unconditional love, like you said. That my son needed to eat the other night. I fed him. You know, they still get unconditional love. I'm still there for them, but to a certain aspect, certain things I can't do for them, they have to learn on their own.
Why do they have to learn it on their own?
Because I tried to teach them, they didn't want to listen to me. So now the school of hard knocks got to teach them.
Okay, so is that what's best for them?
That's what's best for me.
Which, okay. Dr. J, you have anything before I go?
I do, but it would take way longer for me to explain it than before you about to go. So.
How long is it?
Come on, Dr. J.
Now, no, because when we have these types of conversations, you know, you think about, like, I heard Vicky touch on, I don't know if it was a hypothetical or if it was in reality. She said something about, you said something about your mom, right? Did you say something about your mom? Okay. So when I think about it, I think about, like I said in the comments, I'm thinking about it as in a sense of upbringing. So for me, the way I grew up pretty tough. So what I was always fed into me was, you don't always have to like or love your siblings, but you have to always be loyal to your siblings. So that is the way I was raised. That's how I was raised. I was raised by I had a very rough, tough upbringing. My father was very into the streets. So the way he raised us was like, listen, this is your sibling. Y'all may not, because you have siblings that you don't like. I'm going to be very honest. You have siblings that you just cannot stand. And sometimes you don't love them per se, and you don't like them. But he would always tell us, you have to be loyal to them. Which means, we're trying to be as PG as I can be, if you see somebody beating your sister's ass, you better walk across that street because you're loyal to your blood. So, or you're loyal to this individual that I am raising you to be loyal to. So that's why I always have said, that's why I pick, just deeper into my, you know, to my dichotomy, why I pick loyalty over love.
Right, that makes sense because it is all about what you were trained and taught and what you were around. And so that's why everyone's beliefs, that's why everyone's, you know, understanding is completely different. And it
Right.
takes work. It takes work for you to understand where you stand. So that's
Yeah,
why it's okay to agree to disagree.
I think it depends on the definition we thinking of loyalty. Because see, I would categorize that as unconditional love to my brother and sister. If I see them getting their ass beat, go jump in. Like, you know, this is love. You know what I mean? Not
Mm-hmm.
loyalty. I look as like going over and beyond or making the decision and say, you know what? I'm not going to do this person wrong. I'm not going, you know, cheat. You know, if we're in a relationship, I'm not going to, you know, just things like that. I didn't look at the loyalty as the definition you were making it. I look at that as love.
Oh yeah. See, you look at it as love, but like I going back, like I said, it's the way that you're taught. Like Vicky's like, it's the way that you're taught. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, at that point in time, I didn't love my sister when she was getting her ass beat, but I walked across the street because I'm loyal to you. I'm loyal to her. I'm gonna be honest. I couldn't stop it. I'm honest. Y'all know I did not love her for real. Like, you cross the street, get your ass, but I'm going to walk across the street because Daddy said I have to be loyal to you. I have to be loyal to you. So that's just how that's how I was raised.
With her.
You know?
What you say, Marchello?
In a sense, you did love her. You was just upset with her.
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
No, I didn't. Y'all know I'm as real as they come. I'm going to stand on what I say. I'm going to go in the paint with you. But listen, no, I didn't. At the time, no, I didn't.
Okay, Doc, let me ask you this then.
Vicky, stop laughing at me, Vicky.
Hey, Doc,
I'm not trying to.
Dr. J, let me ask you this then, because I want to give you some pushback.
Oh
Everybody
Lord.
can pushback at that. Why did you go help your sister out?
Because that's what my father said that we had to do.
So if your father didn't tell you to do that and you saw somebody beating your sister up, do you think you still would have jumped in?
Yeah, because it was one-on-one fight. Now, if she was getting banked and it wasn't squared up, then nah, I wouldn't have. I'd have been standing there, but I wouldn't have jumped in it, nah.
All right, hold on. Your sister is getting her ass handed to her, right? Are you jumping in? Not because your father didn't.
Is it one person? Or is it more than one person?
Okay, it's one person. Your sister, she getting.
It's a fair fight.
She
It's
get
a fair fight. No, I'm not jumping in. It's a fair fight.
okay. So
It's a fair fight.
okay,
It's a fair fight.
okay. I heard you. Relax, man.
That's a whole topic. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. Like, I got you. What I was trying to figure out is like, so let's say she was getting jumped, right? The only reason you're saying you would jump in is because it's an unfair fight, not because you have some affinity for your sister.
I'm loyal to her, so I'm going to jump in it.
Right, but why are you loyal to her?
Because you love her.
Right, and that's the path from going down. Is that if you don't love her, right? Even if you, I'm just telling you how it sounds in my mind. Even if you don't consciously love her, there's something subconscious in you that loves family, or even just the idea of family, right? So you could be jumping in not necessarily to save her per se, her as a individualized ego, right? You could be jumping in, she left out. You could be jumping in for the purpose of the love, the simple love of family that's inherent within us, which is still love, right? Vicky be looking at me like, boy, Chell's be breaking it down. I'm just saying, that's just how my mind be. I'm compartmentalized, like, hold on, there's still love there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's love. It's just not, it may not be as conscious, right? Because we naturally protect our families. We don't even have to necessarily like them. Like we were saying, we don't like them, but you bust up in the,
Yeah.
yo,
You
I'm laying
don't.
you down, cuz.
Yeah, you don't have to like your family. We don't choose our family. We choose our friends.
Right.
But and at the end of the day, you know, it's all about it's a heart thing. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's a heart thing, and it's how you view, how you treat others, and that's just what it comes down to. And sometimes, you know, some people are a little bit more tolerant. You know, we tolerate things, or we truly do have a deep desire to help one another, to love one another. And you can break that down in so many different ways of being respectful, being loyal, however you see it. But at the end of the day, you got love for them. And
So
that's how I look at it.
I'll ask you the same thing I asked Marchello, and then I'll slide off. If we were talking about it being an umbrella, right?
Uh,
Is love written at that top umbrella, and then loyalty falls under that?
yes, to me, because my definition of love is God. God is love to me, and He is ultimately the number one. So I go by the basis of what I believe in. Love is at the top for me, and then everything else falls underneath of that.
Okay, cool. Well, I know you hit slid off, so I'm gonna let you slide off again. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. I love
Okay.
you. I'm loyal to you. It's all we have to
Yes.
love.
Yes.
What I
And I
do.
respect, yeah, I love everyone. I love you guys, and I respect everyone's opinion. And we just see how different we all are. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're bad at all. So,
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Vicky. We'll holler.
Allah, God bless y'all.
Likewise. Mikhail, you sticking around or you sliding off too?
I'm gonna slide off and keep watching.
All right, hold on 1 second. Don't leave yet.
Okay.
Make the editing easy for me. Just hold tight for a second.
What's going on, brother?
Peace, King. How you feeling?
Cooling, man. I'm loving this conversation you having, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Real talk.
Give me 1 second. Mikhail, you can slide off now. I got Dr. J coming back in. I appreciate you, my brother.
All right, brother.
Peace. Let's see if Dr. J comes back in. Give me 1 second, my guy.
Yeah, you good, man.
You back, Dr. J?
Oh yeah, sorry, my service dropped.
Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, or you good?
I just didn't hear everything you said because my service dropped.
The point that I was making is that if you're willing to save your sister, there may not be a conscious level of love there, but the fact that you're willing to put yourself in danger for her or for the family name, right? Or just for the matter of saying she's my family member, to me, that tells me there's a certain level of love there. Now, it may not be directed towards her, but there's some love that's occurring for you to put yourself in harm's way.
Right now, it would be because of love. But back then, when I was younger, I didn't have that emotional maturity. I didn't love her. I really couldn't stand her, but it was because I was loyal to her. Right now, it will be because of love.
Okay. All right. Cool. 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 Hey, what's your name, my brother?
John,
John. I'm Charles. Nice to meet you.
you too, bro. You too. I like what she just said. She said that back then she didn't have that emotional maturity,
Uh-huh.
and that's why what I'm thinking about as I'm listening to this, you can mature in your loyalty towards others, and you can mature in your love towards other people. And we all at different levels, but it's just like how Miss Vicky was saying that everybody has their own upbringing and they own, their own path and where they at. And I feel like that's critical for us to understand, and I also love how she said that it's a matter of the heart. You remember how, like, before she got off, she said that it's a heart matter. And I believe that's key. I really believe that that's key when it comes to love, because loyalty, your heart ain't got to be in loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is just how I see it. I feel like you can, if you really are in love, and I'm not talking about just far as you're like, husband and wife. I just mean like in that heart posture. Remember, it's about the heart, that heart posture of love. If you are in that place, I believe that it can make it does make your loyalty to other people way much stronger. Your integrity and the way that you treat life in general is off of this foundation of love. So I like that analogy that you mentioned when you said that umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Love or loyalty being at the top. But I like the fact of having love at the top, and then all these byproducts, are taken care of or not getting wet, if you could say, are covered by love. Because I believe that love is that foundation. It
Okay.
really is.
So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, you're good.
Okay. So based on what you're saying, I can surmise that you would, if you had to choose love or loyalty, you're going to take love, because with the love that you're talking about, you're going to get the loyalty anyway.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay. Let me ask you this then: is there,
What's up?
let's say someone has that love for you, right? A human has that love for you. Is it possible for that person who has that love for you to cause you pain?
Yes, it's possible because we are all imperfect. And hear me out on this. Because love, I truly believe that love is the closest thing to perfect that a person can get to. I believe that at our essence and who we are as a person, I believe that we was all created in love, for love, by love. And what I mean by that is the Bible says that God is love. God is love. He's the essence of love. And if you look at any baby, just look at a newborn baby right now and describe a baby, and every word that you would use to describe that baby would have some kind of connection to love. It may be pure, innocent, all these different words. So I believe that when we are in that heart posture of pureness, innocence, you know what I'm saying? We are the closest thing to perfection as we can get. And we can step outside of that. And we do step outside of that every single day. And when we are, when we are outside of that, that's when we put ourselves in a position to hurt people, whether it's on purpose or not on purpose. And then on top of that, we can name a million different circumstances, but I may have an expectation on this person. You know what I'm saying? And they may have a pure heart towards me, not mean no ill will. They walking in love for real, but my expectation of them wasn't met, regardless of how, you know what I mean? Regardless of their heart posture. My expectation of them wasn't met, so now my feelings are hurt, and that might not have anything to do with them. You feel me?
Yeah.
They
I hear you. Dr. J, you got it. You got anything?
No.
I'm gonna let you slide off because somebody else want to get in. I had like 2 or 3 people try and get in. They dropped off. So,
Okay.
Dr. J,
Yes.
All right.
I love you and I'm loyal to you.
I love you and I'm loyal to you too. I'ma
I
jump in.
appreciate you.
All right.
All right, we'll holler. All
You
right,
said
so you're saying that when that person, what was the term you used? Like stepped out of, they did something that was outside of your expectations.
Yeah.
And because they did something that was outside of your expectations, that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love you, that they don't love you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right? I'm following you there. Now, let me pose it to you like this. Let's say that person did something that they knew would bring you pain, right? And there was necessarily no benefit for the, well, the benefit for them, it would be obvious that the benefit for them wasn't worth losing the relationship that y'all had, right? The fact that they were willing to do that, does that mean that they don't love you unconditionally?
That's a very good question. And I like the way you put unconditionally at the end of it, because again, I'm going to say people are imperfect. We are all imperfect. And I believe that it's possible for people, because we express it every day. We step outside of love all the time. You know what I mean? See, this is what I mean. It's almost like, and it might sound funny, but just hear me out. It's almost like a light switch. You can turn the light switch on or you can turn it off, you know, and I'm sure you've had those moments. Every person has had those moments where you are locked in to you, whether you consciously aware of it or not, you locked in on love. It may be a situation where a homeless man asked for $1 and you gave him $10, and the smile that, you know, you brought a smile to his face, or whatever the case may be, and it made you feel good. Like, that's what we on this earth for. We on this earth for love, you know, and we can step outside of that, you know, and people do all the time. And I feel like just because somebody steps outside of love and they do something, because we do stuff ignorantly that we know we ain't got no business doing all the time. You know, every day we always do stuff, you know, everybody does stuff that they have no business doing. So I don't believe that. I believe that it's possible, because we express it every day, for us to step outside of love, but we can always come right back. You know, love is not just a feeling. I don't believe it's just a feeling that you feel towards your husband or your wife. It's much more than that. I believe that love is kind. I believe that love is patient. I believe that love does not seek its own, meaning that love is not selfish. You know, love does not keep a record of wrong done to it. And all these great things, but we can step outside of these things that I just listed, you know, and in that moment, you are not in love. You know, that's like right now, if I had children and, you know, my child do something that, you know, steps outside the boundaries and do something crazy, and I whoop my child, and I'm in a fit of anger. I'm in a fit of anger right now. In this moment, see what the natural man would say, what we would say is, yes, I love my child. Because we know at our essence we do, but in that moment you're not acting like it. You're screaming and yelling. You're saying, I can't stand this child. If I done told him once, I done told him twice. How many more times I'm gonna have to deal with this? That's selfish. Like, think about it. You know, love doesn't keep no record of wrong done to it, and love doesn't seek it. Anytime we in a moment, in a mindset of me, thinking about me and how do I feel, how you made me feel, how I'm hurt, that's selfish. See, love doesn't operate that way. Love operates in a. And I see you got.
I got a question for you. Yeah, but go ahead.
Love, and what I'm saying is, see, love is the closest thing to perfection that we will ever get to. And it's a heart posture, just like Miss Vicky had said. She said that love is a matter of the heart. And when we are in that place, that's when a person can truly say, I am in love. You know, and another person has nothing to do with that. You know, and that's what unconditional love is, I believe.
Okay, then my question for you would be, is unconditional love eternally consistent?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Go ahead.
okay, and I'm not trying, a lot of times, so this is the first time we've ever had a
Yeah.
conversation. So what happens is sometimes I do what I call, I put people in a box, and I'm trying to get them to understand my perspective. And then other
Yeah,
times
I
just
like it. It's dialogue. I like it. I like
to
it.
get understanding. So I'm not trying
Yeah,
to like lead you down a path. I'm trying to understand.
listen, you all good.
Okay, so if we can step out of love, but unconditional love is eternally consistent, then do we as humans have the capability to love unconditionally if we can step out of it? Like, can God step out of unconditional love?
No, because God is love, and that's why I say that. That's why I say that it is eternally unconditional. Our physical form. This is why how Miss Vicky kept saying that love is spiritual. You know, because it's much deeper than the physical. See, our physical bodies, we're able to, you know, step outside of love. See, we can be in alignment with love. We can be in alignment with everything pure, you know, kindness for a moment. But as soon as somebody does something, it may be traffic, bro. You may be driving your car and somebody swerve in front of you and cut you off. And you might be having the greatest morning, be thinking about the most loving thoughts that morning, you know, having a blessed morning or whatever you want to call it. But somebody cut you off. And for a moment, you allowed yourself to step outside of love. And now you're in a mindset of selfishness. You see how you cut me off? You know what I mean? Pissed off in a fit of anger. You know what I mean? Because we allow outside factors to dictate how we react, feel, how we express ourselves. And that's what I mean when I say we step outside of love, and we can train ourselves through spiritual maturity to learn how to, you know, step out less. You know what I mean? Step outside of love less.
Okay, so based on
We
what
are.
you're saying,
What's up?
what if I were interpreting what you're saying in my mind, you're saying humans can't love unconditionally.
It's very impossible for a person, bro. It's bro.
Hold on, yo.
Listen,
How you put it very on the definite, very
very,
impossible.
because check this out, and this is what I mean. Name one person that walked this earth that you know that walked this earth as consistent. See, this is why we give Christ praise. This is why we put Christ on a pedestal. This is why we treat Christ the way that we treat Christ, because he expressed unconditional love for real. See, it's much more than just I laid on a cross and died for everybody. It's much bigger than that. It's the life he lived. It's the why behind his life. You know, and if we seek and we ask questions, why did he do this? Why did he do that? Why? You know what I mean? And every time we can ask that question, the answer is love. So we might say Christ is Christ. You know, he's God's son, but it's not just because he's God's son. It's because he is love. He is love in the flesh. And he did what he modeled to us, you know what I'm saying, what the perfect life looks like. And that's what makes you perfect, I believe, is love. But I've never met another man walking this earth that has been so consistent in love to where there were no conditions, even myself. You know, you know, because bro, I got a brother, you know, I'm from the streets, and you know, I don't do anything that I used to do no more. But you know, as far as that street life and stuff, but my little brother still caught up in it. You know, and he's been known to steal, he's been known to rob, he's been known to do any type, like every crazy thing that you can name of right now, even to his own family. We're talking about loyalty. No loyalty. This man does not care who you are. Always looking for a come up. And you know, there's been many times that I've cried real tears in pain and in hurt for this man because of where he's at. But there's also been many times in the same person, me, the same person that can cry these same tears for this man that I love, that I say I love, pissed off in a fit of anger. You know what I'm saying? Cuss him out. Almost about to fight this man. You know what I'm saying? Ready to slap him, put my hands on him. You know what I mean? So we are very inconsistent as people. You know, so when I say I love you, you know, I do love, and I seek love every day. Love is always my highest goal. Every single day I'm seeking to be in this place. But bro, I can't promise you I'm not going to step outside of that, you know, because I allow myself to be conditional, because outside factors, I'm imperfect. You know what I mean?
I got you. I love it. I got another question for you.
What up?
But I'll preface it by giving you my perspective.
All right.
Not a hill that I'm willing to die on. Is just one of the thoughts. I'm a thinker, so I sit around and I think of things, right?
Yeah, that's real.
I was playing with this idea one day that if man has any ability to love unconditionally, it's for himself. I'm dead serious, bro. I'm dead serious.
Hey,
like,
that's real.
So this is one of the topics that I'm kind of like, you know, I don't really know how I feel. But what I can do is compartmentalize and say, okay, based on this principle, I'm gonna test this theory, right?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, if I were to go with the idea that man cannot love someone else unconditionally, like you said, because we're imperfect and because we step out, is it then possible for me to love myself unconditionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I came up with is this. Like I said, this ain't a hill I'm willing to die on. So if I blow up in the next week, don't y'all come back saying you said this and then and all that. Y'all don't get to do that to me. No matter what wrongs I may do when I step out, I will still follow nature's law of self-preservation, number one. And number two, I will still want what is best for me. So if I give you a basic example that's not too violent, if I were to go and rob a bank, right? And I know I robbed this bank because I was there when I robbed it, and I wasn't out of my mind. I intentionally did this because I wanted to get some money, right?
Yeah.
I love myself enough to know that I ain't trying to go to jail.
Yeah.
Even though I know that if I was the guy who had the young lady that got the gun put in his or her face, I would think that that person should go to jail. But if that person is me,
yep,
I'm calling the cockpit firm. You know why? Because I love me regardless of what I do.
Yeah, no, you got a point. You got a very good point. And it's all, and bro, and it's a flip side to that too, because we are very inconsistent with ourselves though at the same time. Because there are also moments where we might step outside of love and do something. In that moment, we feel like, oh, this is what I should be doing or what I want to do. But then after the fact, you know, have you ever gotten drunk one night, been drunk and did something stupid you ain't had no business doing it, then the next morning you're sober up, you're like, what in the world was I thinking? I'm dumb. I ain't got no business. You know what I'm saying? I'm this, I'm that. All the self-hate, all the self-doubt. So we treat ourselves in a very inconsistent and unconditional way as well. You know, we beat ourselves down because we are very unconditional with ourselves. We treat ourselves good if we're doing good, and we treat ourselves bad if we've been doing bad. You know, we keep score. We grade ourselves. You know what I mean? We grade ourselves based on so many different factors. You feel me? But we are the one taking the test, and then we're the one grading the test. You know,
I'm gonna have it on this test every time. So,
you know,
what you're saying. So, on the 5th, I had a therapy session with my therapist, right? And we were talking about certain things, and I don't remember exactly what it was that he was trying to get me to see, right? But I could tell that he was like, kind of, maybe not surprised, but just like, you could just, for lack of a better term, surprised that the way I put it. And I was like, dog, I don't carry guilt, right? Even if I do something that I know is wrong to you, right? And you are in your feelings about it, I've forgiven myself. Now, that's not this. When I say carry, I'm not saying I don't feel guilty. What I'm saying is I do my best to not harbor guilt over myself, even if I did something wrong, right? And in my mind, that makes me be like, it's probably because I love myself.
Hey, because I'm the same way. I'm the same way. And I have to remind myself sometimes, like, you know what, bro, you're not going to hold yourself to this. You know what I mean? I have to tell myself, like, talk to myself sometimes, like, pick your head up, boy. Like, that was yesterday. Or even if it was 5 minutes ago, that was 5 minutes ago. Let's keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful perspective. What's that?
Did you play sports? You play sports?
No, I'm the last one you want to see.
Well, no, the reason I asked, because I played ball for a large part of my life, you know what I'm saying? And when you play sports, that's how it is, right? Like I was always a shooter. So, you know, if I'm 0 for 5 and I'm open, I love myself enough to believe that this next one is going to win. And in order to have success, right? Like, you have to have that mentality. Like, people forget, like, Jordan had games in the finals where he was like 6 for 28.
Yeah, real deal. Real deal.
Terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, but his self-love and his belief and probably all the practice that he put in, he like, nah, if I miss this game winner after going 6 for 27, I'll be 6 for 28 and we'll
Yeah,
come back tomorrow because I love me
exactly.
to believe that I could get it done in game 6 or whatever the case may be. But
And that's the best you can be. I feel like that's the best a human that we can do. I feel like that's the best that we can do, bro. You feel me? Is move forward, look at what happened, acknowledge it, and learn from it. You feel me? Even if it's a reoccurring thing, even if you are 0 for 27, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I was 0 27. That don't got to be 0 28. You know, it don't got to be 0 29. And it's that compound of positive reinforcement. You know what I'm saying? When you slip up, and I feel like that's what a lot of people don't have. And I feel like that's the road I feel like that we need to be walking down because that's the path of least resistance, if you ask me. You know.
I agree. So yesterday I came on a live. I'm not gonna give you the long story, but yesterday I came on a live and practically not no one, but practically no one was here. The same level of people that are normally here and the normal people who are here, they weren't in here. I'm gonna tell you how my mind works, right? I knew today's live was gonna be super duper lit. I knew it was gonna be something special, and I didn't decide the topic until I don't know 5-10 minutes before I hit the live button, right?
Yeah.
And that's because, for lack of a better term, I understand duality to the degree that I can, right? So yesterday was like the bottom. So I knew, I said, well, today can't be no worse than it was yesterday, because if it's the same as it was today, then we still
Yeah.
flatline. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah. Yeah. That's real. That's real.
It's all good. And so because of that understanding of duality and the ebbs and flows of life and the belief that I have in myself, like, yo, like I've been doing this for a while now. So yesterday was a 1 for 27. I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm going, 25 for 25 or whatever the case may be. And we just going to keep it moving. And yesterday is just a distant memory, a figment of my imagination point, right?
Exactly.
Because I'm not
Yeah.
going to beat myself up over a lack of success or quote unquote failure in one little moment. But humans, what happens is we have a negativity bias. And it's happened. I'm just being open. It happened in my mind. I'm like, damn, I ain't even get to do a show yesterday. Like, in my mind, because I can watch my mind. I know there's a delineation between who I am,
Yeah.
the mind that I possess.
Yeah.
And I'm watching my mind, and it's like, yo, dog, this might be a bad week. This might be the end of it. Maybe you need to shut it down. Maybe you need to do something different. But then my higher mind was like, yeah, but the last 70 joints you did was at least par for the course. So don't let the negativity bias stop your self-love. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
So that's just how it kind of played out. Do you have anything in closing that you would like to say? Before you do that, if there's anybody else who has something they want to add to the conversation, you're going to have to click the little camera with the plus in it and let me know you want to come in, because I'm about to bring it to an end, but I like to give everybody a chance to say what it is they want to say. So, my man John, do you have anything to say for yourself or about the conversation or in general in closing?
Not really, man. To be honest with you, no. But I appreciate you having me, bro.
Oh, anytime, man. So for everybody on here, follow everybody else that's on here. John, follow me. I can't follow anybody while I'm in the live. So if you follow me, if you're in this live right here and you follow me, I'll follow you back.
That's real.
In closing, I think the love and loyalty question is a conversation worth having. As you can see today, it was really intense. I have more clarity on the difference between the two, the similarities between the two, the symbiotic relationship between the two. And regardless of which one you choose, you're welcome, Julie Bean. Regardless of what you choose, be conscious in that choice, right? Jay, you say you jumping in? Jay got something else. She want to talk about her sister getting beat up. And so my old Dr. J coming back. I'm telling you, Dr. J, you better come on back because I'm wrapping up. Brother gotta go to work tonight, and I love myself enough to know I gotta take a nap. I do. So you coming back? Hold on one second. Let me see.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump off, bro. But I appreciate you, man.
Don't leave yet.
All right.
Hey, Dr. J, hold on. I know you got some. I know. Hold on. Because it just makes it easier for me to edit it.
All right.
No, I was saying I'm gonna jump in for you because I love you and I'm loyal to you.
Oh, well, hey, John, I love you, black man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. No problem at all, man. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, peace.
Yes, sir.
All right, Dr. J, don't go nowhere. Do not leave, Dr. J. Do you have anything in closing, Dr. J, before I finish off?
No, it's Black Panther Day. See my Black Panther shirt?
Wakanda forever.
Go see Black Panther.
So in closing, I love y'all. I'm loyal to y'all. I appreciate y'all. I want the best for y'all. I want y'all to have mental clarity, emotional intelligence, effective communication. And through all of that, you know what that's going to help you do? What's going to help them do, Dr. J?
Take your power back.
Take your power back. Peace.